Thank you for inviting me.
All right, so Sipho, share your thoughts on the overall composition of the new cabinet and how it reflects the ANC's priorities and policies.
Well, the cabinet reflects the president's commitment to creating a government of national unity. It is a government that is now made by 12 parties. He invited the people from the opposition to come in and find a way of taking this country forward. And in doing so, he was remaining true to his commitment, whereas the Democratic Alliance saw this as a coalition between two parties. And in a sense, the whole to and froing was as a result of that misinterpretation. But after a week, 2 weeks long, the parties have agreed to say this will be how it will be structured. So he has brought also the number of black parties, among other things, to undermine and to neutralize the noise that is coming from the Democratic Alliance, which largely represent the white vote. So in a sense, the president understood very well that he will not be held at ransom by a white party. And politically, the optics did not look good. So what he has done is a masterstroke at the neutralizing. But at the same time, he has also diluted the opposition parties by inviting them into government. So effectively, the strong voice that would have emerged from the black parties has now been neutralized by some of them being co-opted into government. Okay. So it leaves the space with now a few parties who are in opposition.
Okay. Now, but what's the general mood among South Africans, regarding this new cabinet? Are they supportive or skeptical of the appointments? And what does this say about the expectations from the government's performance?
Well, the general mood is that of acceptance and also appreciation. I think many South Africans were concerned about the optics. They felt that this new government of national unity would be almost like bringing back the white rule and white supervision and white arrogance. So in a sense, having now more black voices and from a number of parties does deal with that concern. So right now it's people accepting. But of course, how it will pan out is something that only time will tell, because all these parties themselves, in as much as they are part of the unity government, they also have their own political agendas. They also look into the future where they will also want to use the positions to gain political traction.
Of course. Now, talking about political agendas, the DA leader, John Steenhuisen, went from opponent to the Minister of Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development. Now, how do you assess this selection? Do you think that he can become, or he will be an effective minister in this role?
Well, when you are in government, you are not going to be deciding issues on your own. You have cabinet, which acts as a collective. And in this country, the cabinet makes a decision about where you're going. What ministers do is to sponsor policies, to sponsor legislation. But what is also important is also to understand that this issue of dealing with land has been ongoing for the last 8 years. So he will not be able to come up with his new policy and undo the policy of the ANC. And as a matter of fact, most of the parties that have joined the government of national unity, they'll be guided by the policy of the ruling party. It is just a pity that when it had the majority, it failed to implement them to where the people would have been satisfied. And as a result, it was punished in the elections. So the question is whether now with these other strange bedfellows, the ANC will achieve what it failed to achieve in the last 8 years.
Okay. Now, the appointment of, former Minister of Basic Education, that's Angie Moshega, as Minister of Defense and Military Veterans is actually quite surprising. It came as a surprise. How do you think her experience in education will translate to the defense portfolio?
Well, like I said, the defense portfolio has been with us for some time, and policies are in place. All that is required is a implementation of those policies. But from somebody who has been in defense myself, What the defense that requires is they don't require a minister who's interventionist, because when that happens, then there is always a standoff between the minister and the chief of SNDF or the military. So the NG comes in knowing full well that this is not a forte. But what the president has also done is to bring somebody who used to be in the military, General Holomisa, who understands and has also worked within that space for a number of years. So he'll be somebody who will deputize and provide the support that NG will not have. What NG will have to do is to make sure that the resources of the military are used for what they are intended.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Sipho Seepe, for speaking to us on this.
You're welcome.